Hey friends, this is my grand finale of my composition art journal series. This is going to be a kind of a slow flip through. I enjoy watching flip throughs, and but sometimes they go too fast, and I'm like, oh, I want to slow down. So I'm going to do a slow version where I'm just going to like look at each page and explain it, and then I think I'll make kind of a quicker version afterwards for those people who just like, just show me the before and after, you know. So. And I'm also experimenting. I usually record everything and edit and then do a voiceover, but I'm going to try to just record as I'm talking to you today. And I've got two cameras set up, and I will go and just edit the view later. So, anyway, this is it. This is my beautiful composition notebook art journal that I started back in August of last year, and it's currently May. I didn't think that it would take me this long to complete it, but, I kind of went through creative slumps here and there where I didn't necessarily just feel like it. And then there was also life happened and I got busy. But doing this channel really helped me get back to it when otherwise I might have just kind of just given up, because I tend to do that. I get like really hyper intense and excited about something. I do it for a while and then I find something else, something else sparkles and I want to do that. So anyway, we'll just get started. All right. The first page, this page, I actually, checking yep. I never did a, process video on it because it was just like the inside flap that I was using my extra paint to brush off of. And then right before I finished the cover, I just kind of wrote in there, completed the journal, go make some art, YouTube, 1 year. So yeah. Oh, by the way, I just celebrated my Artsy Erin YouTube channel 1 year anniversary. Aww. And I am going to buy myself my own microphone. That's my little birthday present to my YouTube channel, because then I might actually get more done because I don't have to wait for my son to have his microphone available. Anyway, so this first page, I have swept away your sins like a cloud. I have scattered your offenses like the morning mist. Oh, return to me, for I have paid the price to set you free. And that is Yahweh our God speaking to his people in Isaiah 44:22. I was playing around with mandalas. You'll see several pages that are very inspired by Elisa Burke. I just love her style. And so I think, and this one, I was just kind of learning how to play around with that. This one has no words, but I love it. It's actually one of my favorites. And I just love the composition. I love the color, and as you'll see in a lot of pages, it has a lot of like reflective metallics, so enjoying that. Okay, this you can't read very well, but I did a 30 days of overcoming program where each day listened to a little video and just declared truth over my life. Okay, I just did pause it because I ran downstairs to get my list of overcomer mindset declarations that you can see kind of scribbled on here, which, by the way, I started with a Q-tip and wrote them kind of messy cursive underneath. And then once I ran out of room, I came back with this green metallic marker and wrote over the top of them. I thought about doing something more artsy with a focal point, but I just decided to leave it at that because that was... it served its purpose for that day. And I started to list all of these, but what I'm going to do instead is put them in the notes below so that if you want to, you can look at the 31 Overcomer Mindset declarations and their Bible verses that go with them. And I didn't do my pages in chronological order. I kind of jumped all around. And so even though these first 3 pages are all, well, not that one, but for our very faith-based, like I said, they're not all that way. But anyway, also when I started this project, I was in the middle of a read through the Bible in a year program, which I have kind of restarted. I didn't start January 1st. But then I kind of played a little catch up because Anyway, that's another story. But as I was reading through, a lot of times wherever I was studying or whatever I was learning would come out in my journal. So, give thanks to Yahweh and proclaim his greatness. Tell the world about his wonderful deeds. He is wonderful. You're not rich until you have something that money can't buy. I've done a lot of contemplating this year on money. I know what it's like to have a season of abundance and be like, woohoo, this is fun. I like this. But most of my life, it's been month to month and not abundance. Just getting by, living on faith. And you know what? I just learned to be content in either one. I'm grateful when I do have abundance, and I am grateful when I have to rely on God to just trust him that he's going to provide for us, and really we can't take anything from this world. So even if I lost my house and everything I own, I would be fine. So I love that quote. Okay, this is a poem from Becky oh boy, I can't read my own writing. Helmbley? I don't know. But I'm going to read it again. I read it in my process video, but since we're doing the slow flip through, I'll read it again. She sat in the back and they said she was shy. She led from the front and they hated her pride. They asked her advice and then questioned her guidance. They branded her loud and then were shocked by her silence. When she showed no ambition, they said it was sad. So she told them her dreams, and they said she was mad. They told her they'd listen, They told her they'd listen, then covered their ears and gave her a hug while they laughed at her fears. And she listened to all of it, thinking she should be the kind of girl they told her she... She listened to all of it, thinking she should be the girl they told her to be as best as she could. But one day she asked what was best for herself instead of trying to please everyone else. So she walked to the forest and stood with the trees. She heard the wind whisper and danced with the leaves. She spoke to the willow, the elm, and the pine, and she told them what she'd been told time after time. She told them she felt she was never enough. She was either too little or far, far too much. Too loud or too quiet, too fierce or too weak. Too wise or too foolish, too bold or too meek. Then she found a small clearing surrounded by firs, and she stopped and she heard what the trees said to her. And she sat there for hours, not wanting to leave. For the forest said nothing. It just let her breathe. I'm getting choked up. It's such a beautiful poem because I am wired to be a people pleaser, an obliger. I fear rejection, all of that. I know that's like the majority of the population, and many of you can probably relate, but I just love that. I don't know. It just spoke to my soul. Okay, so this is just fun green blobs. Doesn't it look kind of like a petri dish? You know, like little amoebas, little something floating around. I think I started with like an inspiration on Pinterest that kind of had some interesting shapes and some browns and yellows. And then I just took off from there, which so much of my work is inspired by something else. Sometimes it's just a little shape or a color. Occasionally I'll do kind of a copycat page. So yeah. Whether you think you can or think you can't, you're right. Henry Ford. So another kind of theme throughout this journal that reflects the stage of life I'm in is just building my confidence, kind of getting over insecurities and all of that, and learning about myself, my strengths and weaknesses, and how I can overcome things. So I starting a business and kind of defining my goals and wanting to I don't know, just visualize what I can do and believe that I can, just like wise old Henry Ford. Spring. So I did this not too long ago when the weather was getting warmer, and made these flowers partly because we were getting ready for the eclipse, and I was using this technique to make little eclipses, and then I just turned them into flowers on this page. Yeah, so lots of texture on this. See the texture. Okay, this was kind of a favorite when I posted it on my Facebook group. Got lots of attention. I really love it. It started out as an ugly brown page, and I tried to do a bunch of things with it and just was like, ugh, yuck. So I scrapped it all, and I just took a berayer and started over and painted my whole page. And then now it turned out to be one of my favorite pages. I'm like, imagine that. So just like life, that's sometimes you just need to scrap it and start a new direction. So everything is a risk, and not doing anything is also a risk. So again, kind of like going out of my comfort zone into the unfamiliar feels risky, but I don't want to look back on life and regret not trying and not doing things that I wish I would have because, it was too risky. Because I stayed in my comfort zone. So anyway, I love the way it turned out. I don't know if this is one of those glow in the dark paints that I don't know if it'll actually glow in the dark, but I'm going to try to. Well, part of the reason I wanted to record this a little bit more live was to catch some of the sounds. Here, I'll hold it up to the microphone. All right, so this started out as a black page, and I was really inspired by something I saw that had like the metallic on the black. And I kind of went a little too crazy. I think I went overboard as far as I loved the contrast with the metallics and the blacks that I almost left no black showing. But I do like the page, so that's okay. Yahweh is compassionate and gracious, slow to anger, abounding in love. For as high as the heavens are above the earth, so great is his love for those who fear him. That's Psalm 103. Praise Yahweh, O my soul. I'll fly away, O glory, some glad morning, when this life is over, I'll fly away. Just a few more weary days, and then I'll fly away. If you're feeling depressed, just turn to him. And remember that this life is short. Sorrow and mourning will disappear, and they will be filled with joy and gladness. I didn't realize how that was so perfectly lined up. Kind of go from that reflection of how life is short and that, this isn't it, right? And then we go to a reminder that we will be filled with joy and gladness and our sorrow and mourning will be over. And that's a verse from Isaiah 35, which this is, I think, one of the first pages that I did. Yeah. I love this one. And I embrace all the mistakes and oopses, but I was really disappointed that I got red paint. And this was after the page was already done. And I put a paper towel or something. I think I was working on this page and it got there. And I didn't go back and fix it, but it is the way it is. I hope there are days when your coffee tastes like magic, your playlist makes you dance, strangers make you smile, and the night sky touches your soul. I hope you fall in love with being alive again. It's a quote by Brooke Hampton. I just love that because, I find a lot of joy in the simple things of life. Like some people like to work and work and work and be busy, and that's how they feel fulfilled. I am really good at resting. Like too good, probably. Like I enjoy just sitting on the couch and reading and being at peace and listening to the birds and drinking my coffee and all that good stuff. Don't look back. You're not going that way. His grace is sufficient for me. I did have an event in the last couple of years that has, I've really had a hard time getting past it. Just to be general, like really felt hurt and taken advantage of and wronged. And I have worked on forgiveness because forgiveness isn't about the other person. It's about yourself. I've heard it said that unforgiveness or bitterness is like drinking poison and waiting for the other person to die. And it's true. 20 some years ago when I was in college, I went through clinical depression and I learned the reality of that when you hold on to bitterness, it eats your soul. It's horrible. So I know enough to know that I need to be free from bitterness and everything. So I just have to remind myself occasionally that His grace is sufficient for me. And it's time to move forward. I really love this page. I love the texture. Let's see if I can. I don't know how much this microphone is made to kind of pick up voices and block out some of the background noise. So I don't know if you're going to hear what do the kids call it? ASMR when it's, when you hear the pages and all of that. Choose contentment. Yes. I love mushrooms. I know there's got to be mushrooms in our woods. We have woods. I know there is. My daughter went out and took a bunch of pictures, but I'm really hoping to find morel mushrooms. If you've never had a morel mushroom, you're missing out. When they're sautéed in butter, they taste like filet mignon. They're so delicious. Anyway, I was having fun with nature-y colors and things. And contentment, I'll confess, is usually about marriage. Sometimes you just have to be content. And it's a choice. Okay, to make progress, you have to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. So I've seen different variations of that quote, but the general principle is true that, if you want to change something in your life, like it's going to be hard. It's going to be uncomfortable for a while until everything is hard. And I tell my kids this when we're doing school and they come across something new, maybe an algebra or whatever, and they're just like, oh, it looks so hard. I said, yeah, but once you learn it, it's easy. So I have to remind myself of that, of things that appear to be too hard in life that I don't want to take on. And I have to remind myself, if I do the hard work and be uncomfortable, I will make progress. So the base layer of this page is masking tape. So it has this really cool effect. It feels almost like suede. Isn't that fun? Yay. Anyway, I really like this page. All the flowers of tomorrow are in the seeds of today. Plant seeds. Right? Our relationship with time is a funny thing because we live in the present. We're constantly like reflecting on the past, either with regrets or fond memories. As parents, sometimes we miss the days when our kids were cute little innocent babies or whatever. But we also realize that like every season has its flowers, and we need to plant seeds and take action today that will bear fruit in the future. Yeah. Oops, skipped one. Choose your hard. I can't remember the book that this came out of. I didn't read the book, but marriage is hard. Divorce is hard. Choose your hard. Obesity is hard. Fit is hard. Choose your hard. Being in debt is hard. Being financially disciplined is hard. Choose your hard. Communication is hard. Not communicating is hard. Choose your hard. Life will never be easy. It will always be hard, but we can choose our hard. Choose wisely. I thought that was packed with wisdom because the grass always seems greener on the other side. We always think, if I can get out of this problem, life will be good. But life is just hard, but you can choose the kind of hard that's going to bring you joy and success in life. I used some modeling paste on these little mushrooms. Thought that was kind of cute and fun, and had lots of. Let's see if I can do some sparkly. Anyway, I love the feel of it. So this time I used text as kind of like a background element. This is another Bible verse. I don't know which one it is, but I am Yahweh your God who teaches you what is good. What is good for you and leads you along paths you should follow. But that, that you had listened to my instructions, then you, sorry, I spaced the letters in between, so it's hard to like let it flow. Then you would have peace flowing like a gentle river and righteousness rolling over you like the waves of the sea. So I see God as a loving father who, even though he's got rules, it's only because he loves us. And when we trust him, there's peace like nothing else. Because you are precious to me, you are honored, and I love you. I will strengthen you and help you. So those are snippets, I think, from probably the Psalms. Thankful. I did this around Thanksgiving time. And I think when I left my video, I had not gone back and put the internal brown right here to make it pop. And it looks so much better. So I won't read all the things I'm thankful for, but I just did this page. You can go back and look at that video if you're interested. But just wanted to fill the whole page with things that I'm thankful for. And everything from, salvation to creativity, comedians. I love comedians, smiles, brownies, sleep, all kinds of things. We have a lot to be thankful for. This is a song lyric by Lauren Daigle, and it's, I don't know who I'd be if I didn't have you. I'd probably fall off the edge. I should sing it, shouldn't I? I don't know who I'd be if I didn't have you. I'd probably fall off the edge. I don't know where I'd go. Okay, I won't keep singing because I just hit a wrong note. I don't know where I'd go if you ever let go, so keep me held in your hands. You're my safe place, my hideaway. You're my anchor, my saving grace. You're my constant, my steadiness. You're my shelter, my oxygen. Okay, I'm okay with being embarrassed sometimes. No, not embarrassed. Humbled because I'm not perfect. And so to me, that is my mission to the world, is to let all the other imperfect people know that they're not alone. I love to sing, but occasionally I hit a wrong note. So anyway, doodles, fun, love it. Love the metallic. Moving on. Wild and free. I don't know. There's something about drawing cactuses. I'm not like a huge desert lover. Like, I don't think I'd want to live in the Arizona desert permanently, but I do like to visit and see the interesting fauna. Is that what you call cacti? Different, Anyway, this was super fun to make. I remember really enjoying making that page. This quote came from a TV show that I was watching, that it was one of those lines that kind of struck me, and I had to pause it and rewind it and listen to it again and go, whoa, that's profound. You know what's great about getting older? You've heard everything those negative voices have had to say, and you just stop listening. So she was talking about kind of the voices in her head that are always worried about what if this and what if that, and you're not good enough, and all that self-doubt and blah, blah, blah that, we get stuck in our head. And the character, just responded to her, just, stop listening. Just move on. Anyway. All right. Here's some random quotes. This is another one of those days when I was trying to give myself inspiration. It's never too late to be what you might have been. So I've definitely had that feeling or experience before where I'm like, oh, I should have done this different thing in life. And then I realized, the quote, the best time to plant a tree is 10 years ago. And the second best time to plant a tree is now. So you can apply that to pretty much anything in life. There's certain things we can't raise our kids all over again, but we can work on our relationship with our kids at any point and move forward. Okay, if you want to conquer fear, do not sit at home and think about it. Go out and get busy. Dale Carnegie. He definitely went out and got busy. I'd rather attempt to do something great and fail than attempt to do nothing and succeed. Whew, that's good. Good stuff. Here is another quote that somebody somewhere is depending on you to do what God has called you to do. I saw that, and it really boosted my confidence in my new declutter coaching business. I really have a passion to help people who are overwhelmed and stressed and with their home, because our home is our sanctuary. It's our safe place, and it shouldn't feel like a place that we want to escape from, right? It should be the place that we escape to. And so often people accumulate so many things that they can't enjoy any of them, and they just feel like their things own them. Like they spend all of their time and energy just managing their things, or they've given up and it's just out of control. So I really want to help people like that, because I've experienced some of that freedom of letting go of things. I'm not like a minimalist, but I feel like I progress towards that through time as I experience the freedom of letting go of things. So anyway, but I was starting to second guess myself as like, oh, is anybody really going to pay me to help them do this? Like, is that, worried about their value of my time and my coaching. And I read this, and a friend of mine who is the one that kind of inspired me to start that business, she's like, God has called you to do this. Like, it's a ministry. It is really going to help people. So I try to remind myself that whenever I want to give up on my ideas, because I'm a big chicken. Anyway, I love this Scandinavian kind of look. Moving on. Okay, I'll just read some of these quotes. All of us must die, even eventually. Our lives are like water spilled out on the ground, which cannot be gathered up again. But God does not just sweep life away. Instead, he devises ways to bring us back when we have been separated from him. That's 2 Samuel 14:14. He redeems us. Okay, it's going to sound like a funny quote, but I'll explain why. But what about that silver I just paid to hire the army of Israel? Amaziah asked the man of God. He replied, Yahweh is able to give you much more than this. This is from Chronicles 25:9. I had just lost a lot of money in a venture that I thought I was so confident I was doing the right thing. And so when it was all over, I was just, I just felt like a gut punch, and I read this little snippet just in the midst of all the kings and, the history in Chronicles. And I felt like that king, like, well, what about all that silver I just paid? And the man of God was like, yeah, he's able to give you so much more than this. And it just reminded me that it doesn't matter if I lose money. Like, this life is not about money, and he provides everything I need. And if he wanted to, he could double, triple, quadruple the money that I lost on that little business venture. So, yeah, it was what we in the Christian world call a God wink when he just speaks to us personally in a way that we know is for us. And speaking of money, I also pulled up some other verses about money. So don't store up yourselves treasures on earth where moth and rust destroy and thieves break in and steal. Store treasures in heaven where moth and rust cannot destroy and thieves do not break in and steal. So where your treasure is, there the desires of your heart will also be. That's Matthew 6:19 through 21. For what does it profit a man to gain the whole world, yet forfeit his soul? Mark 8:36. So it's easy to get caught up in the pursuit of happiness and wealth and stability and all that kind of stuff in this world, especially as Americans. We have enjoyed a lot of abundance and blessings and opportunities. I hope that our grandchildren will have the same opportunities. I don't know what this world is going to be like for them. But it's not about things. So here's just a whimsical garden page. Isn't it cute? I wish I could grow a flower that looked like that. Anyway, not much to say. No quotes here to explain, just playing around. I think I did use a inspiration photo from Pinterest for this one. Can you see all the reflecting? Isn't it pretty? Okay. This is an imperfect poem, but it flowed out of me like it was just coming right off from my heart. And it was when my youngest daughter is 15, and she was going into her school year or whatever. And she's just at, 15 is kind of like this transitionary phase of life, and she's my baby. And I'll see if I can read it because I kind of wrote it scribbly on purpose, but it was it was about her. How can I help you become the woman you are meant to be? So much of your weakness comes from me. I want you to be stronger, braver, better, more full. Overcome my weakness I see in me, but only with Yahweh, will you be your best you. So look to him and you will be true. I love you and want to watch you soar, but I'm weak and want to carry you forevermore. It's hard to let go, so hard to let you flop, but I know you'll only grow once I stop. So trust in him, my precious bird. Look to him, to his love, and trust in his word. I will help you be all that you can be. He loves you the best, and he has the best plan. Now I will release you into the air to fly with the wings he gave you with care. Okay, that was really hard to read. I'm sorry. But yeah, that's kind of my thoughts to my baby girl getting ready to become an adult, a young lady. Don't let yesterday take up too much of today. This was fun. I love all the bright colors. Reminds me of it's very 80s vibe, right? Will Rogers. Let it snow. I did this one in winter, obviously. I kind of say it like I knew with these beautiful blues and purples. Like, doesn't it look like you're in an ice cave or something? That's the vibe I was getting. And so I made some paper snowflakes and wrote about what it was like, the memories I have of snow in Michigan. I live in Arkansas now, and we don't get a whole lot of snow. In fact, this year we got like nothing. I mean, not enough to go sledding in. But we have had a few years that we have, though. Snowmen, cozy sweaters, winter wonderland, building snow forts, making snow angels, moon boots, mittens, making snow trails, frozen toes, warming up by the fire, ice storms, schools closed, dad snow blowing, hot cocoa with marshmallows, snowball fights, igloos, bunny tracks in the woods, cross-country skiing, itchy wool socks, crackling fire, smells like winter, shoveling the driveway, icicle swords. Icicle sword fights. I have 3 older brothers. Gross snow cones. Oh, that was snow plowing. My dad did a lot of snow plowing. Examining snowflakes on my woolen mittens. Bringing in logs to the wood room. So growing up in Michigan, our house was heated by wood, and we would have to stack the wood in the wood room and let it dry so it could heat our house. Doing donuts in the parking lot. Silence in the woods. Licking an icicle, sledding down Suicide Hill. Growing up in Michigan. Suicide Hill was supposed to be called Suicide Hill because it was really steep, and that's what my brothers called it. But I thought they were saying Suicide Hill. Isn't that crazy? What was the other thing I was going to tell you? Yeah, I grew up in the woods of Michigan. I remember getting my snowmobile suit. My giant onesie fluffy thing, and just laying in like so much snow that you didn't feel the ground. I mean, it was probably 3 feet of snow, and I just plopped down and I would stare up at the sky, and it would be so quiet because the snow would absorb any sound that there was. It was just like pure silence. And sometimes there might be like snowflakes drifting and falling on my face. Oh, reminiscing. Anyway. Okay, moving on. Change begins with a new mindset. Yes. Better than before. So sometimes when we set grandiose goals, we can get discouraged. But if every day we try to be just a little better than before, we will grow. Let it go. That's, Elsa knew what she was talking about. Take more chances. Inner calm, outer order. Trust in Yahweh with all your heart. Fill your neural pathways with the mindset you want to have, and you will automatically start thinking alike. That's kind of like a brain hack that I learned from Cass from Clutterbug, because she sometimes talks about brain stuff. She has ADHD, and anyway, I digress. I won't go into a big long story about that, but I love that kind of brain hack that the more that you feed your mind with the things that you want to believe, or areas you want to grow in, your brain will automatically start thinking like that, which also tells you to be really cautious about what you put into your mind. Small changes over time makes for a transformed life. I think that principle comes from Atomic Habits. I haven't read it. I read like the Cliff Notes version, Blinkist. But yeah, same kind of idea is better than before. Just every day, a little bit. I like this. It feels very galaxy-ish with like little measuring tape running through the galaxy. Let's see what I wrote here. Strength doesn't come from what you can do. It comes from overcoming the things that you once thought you couldn't. I'm such a great self-help person for myself, aren't I? Be happy, not because everything is good, but because you can see the good in everything. This is my strength, which can be taken to an extreme, can be my weakness. I do choose to see the good in most things, and so it's occasionally bit me in the butt. But yes, I'd much rather live that way and be wrong a few times than always be skeptical or believe that everything is bad. Artists are people driven by the tension between the desire to communicate and the desire to hide. So true. Good decisions come from experience. Experience comes from making bad decisions. That's always encouraging when you've made a bad decision to realize that that is part of the growth of life. The grass is greener where you water it. Right? So it's not just on the other side. It's where you decide to invest your energy. That's where you're going to get the greener grass. Who am I that the highest king would welcome me? I was lost, but he brought me in. Oh, his love for me. Who the sun sets free is free indeed. In my Father's house, there's a place for me. I am a child of Yah. Yes, I am. I am chosen, not forsaken. I am who you say I am. You are for me, not against me. I am who you say I am. I am a child of Yahweh. The sun has set me free. So this was kind of I didn't know what to do with this page, like turn them into owl eyes or I don't know what, but this is what I did. And it was fun. But just used a white gel pen and just did a doodle over my whole page. No amount of regret or guilt can change the past, and no amount of anxiety can change the future. Right? So just be at peace and relax and do the best you can and forgive yourself and forgive others and move on. I like the colors. I really like this page. Oh boy, here's a bunch more words. If you're still with me. Well, I don't know how much time this is, but there are patterns to life, rhythms. It's so easy while trapped in just one life to imagine that times of sadness or tragedy or failure or fear are a result of that particular existence, that it's just a byproduct of living a certain way rather than simply living. I mean, it would have made things a lot easier if we understood that there was no way of living that can immunize us against sadness. And that sadness isn't intrinsically part of the fabric of happiness. You can't have one without the other. Of course, they come in different degrees and quantities, but there is no life where you can be in a state of sheer happiness forever. And imagining there is just breeds more unhappiness in the life you're in. Isn't that amazing? Okay, so this came from the book, The Midnight Library. And I don't want to give any spoilers, but she almost, I think it's not a spoiler. She is kind of on the brink of death, and in this like transitionary phase, she goes to this library, and every book is basically an alternative version of her life. And so she is allowed to go and like visit all these different alternatives. And so she learns from each one. And this is like a big aha moment to realize that, the searching for like the perfect happiness in life is, it doesn't exist. Like every life comes with its good, its bad, and its sadness, and it's just part of life. So just embrace the life that you have. Yeah. And a couple more quotes, I think, from that book. She had come to imagine that mediocrity and disappointment were her destiny. So I've been there, honestly, and it's not good. So I try not to stay there. I am not designed for normal. Let's see. If I am not chasing down my challenges, they will chase me down, and I am more than a conqueror in Yeshua. Oh, that was probably from my overcoming thing. Don't focus on your challenges. Focus on your God. Nothing can hinder me from fulfilling God's plan over me, because greater is he that is in me than he who is in the world. I eat challenges for breakfast. The joy of Yahweh will not abandon me, because I'm an overcomer. Visualize victory. I will tear down strongholds and hidden idols such as shame, worry, anxiety, unforgiveness. I will rejoice in the Lord always. So when I say Yahweh, that's his proper name. Lord is like a title that most Bibles keep Lord, Lord. But the original manuscripts actually do say his name. And to try to not dishonor his name, translators believed that they just changed it basically. So I use his real name. I will laugh at the days of trouble, for God laughs at those who oppress the righteous. So when bad people get away with hurting good people, I try to remember that God will avenge someday. He will make things right. Be strong and courageous. Okay, this is a fun page. This is a snapshot of myself and my husband. I am over here. I'm the peace-loving dreamer, creative, loyal, intuitive, musical, faithful, visual. I'm a follower. I like ideas. I'm a feeler. I'm passionate, optimistic. I'm an extrovert. I'm more subjective. I look for inspiration. I want to have fun. I want to be empathetic and relaxed and spontaneous. I'm a people person. I've also started reading The Four Tendencies by Gretchen Rubin, and I really recommend that book. So I've also learned that I'm an obliger and my husband is a questioner, which helps me understand our dynamic so much better. Like I already knew a major difference in our personalities. Like he is critically minded, factual, objective. He likes order and managed, logical, science, task, realistic, analytical, practical. He's very hard worker and disciplined. He's got great self-control. He's a sensor, thinker, judger, calculated. So the questioner is like, so I'll give you a quick synopsis of the four tendencies. It has to do with how we meet or resist inner and outer expectations. So a questioner has no problem meeting inner expectations. Like he just decides, I want to be healthy and I'm going to work out. I'm going to do it. So he just does it. So to me, he's like a Superman who can do anything he puts his mind to. He resists outer expectations. He's not going to just follow the rules for the sake of following the rules. He has to be convinced there's a logical reason to follow the rules or to have I think I'm saying that. And then it becomes an internal, accountability. Does that make sense? Okay. And then where I'm an obliger, I have trouble meeting inner expectations. So I'm not a very self-disciplined person, but I am extremely loyal. If I commit to something, I will follow through. And I'm much more successful when I set up outer accountability for myself. Like if I'm trying to exercise or whatever, if I have someone to meet or I join a club or whatever it is, like I will do it. And this YouTube channel has helped me stick with my, I think I said that in the meeting, it just has really helped me stick with this art journaling thing. And I'm glad because I really enjoy it. I get a lot out of it. Okay. Sometimes you will never know the value of a moment until it becomes a memory. Dr. Seuss. He's so wise. I didn't really intentionally do this, but as I'm looking at this page and looking at kind of the drippiness of it, it kind of reminds me of a Dr. Seuss illustration a little bit, doesn't it? Okay, this was when I made this page. First of all, I loved the background. I was doing like these long squiggly lines, and I didn't know what to do next. And I started with these circles, and and I could not figure out for the life of me how to make it work in a way that I liked. So I went on to my Facebook group, my art journaling and mixed media group, and asked for suggestions and got a lot of them. And this was kind of an adaptation to someone's suggestion. And and then I thought, if when something isn't working out, try something different. And I thought, oh, how appropriate, because that's what I did on this page. And I do like the way it turned out. Dear Past Me, thanks for all the lessons. This was if I had to put a percentage, I would put it like maybe 70% copycat. I found an inspiration page that I liked that already had like the bright colors on the back. So I used a lot of the same elements that she did. You can't go back and change the beginning, but you can start where you are and change the ending. C.S. Lewis. So you can see there's a lot of similarities in a lot of the thoughts and quotes that I've used throughout this journal, which I love that's where I'm at in life. Who knows? Maybe in 10 years, when I look back at this, I'll be in a totally different season and my quotes will look very different. Flying bird. Okay, we're nearing the end here. 3 things will last forever: faith, hope, and love. And the greatest is love. This was from an old piece of artwork that my daughter did when she was like 8 or something. I don't know. So instead of throwing it out, I said, oh, I'm going to use it on one of my pages. And here we are on the last page. Celebrate endings, for they precede new beginnings. Oh my goodness. Here comes my dogs. We have 2 golden retrievers, and I left them outside while I was recording because I thought that they might come and be obnoxious. And so they waited till the last page to come and say hello. Hi, guys. This is, you can't see them. Kahlua and Skylar. They are golden retrievers. They're my buddies. So that is it. There's the back cover. And thank you so much for hanging out with me. This was a longer video because I took plenty of time to explain each page, and I hope that you enjoyed it and that you'll come back and hang out with me again as I start a new project. Have a blessed day and go make some art.